The new liberals in America are big business CEOs. Hi, everybody. I'm David Asman, and welcome to Forbes on Fox. Here with that flip side, Victoria Barrett, Mike Ozanian, and Quentin Hardy, along with Elizabeth McDonald, Mike Maiello, and Rich Karlgaard. Rich, let's start with you. Are the CEOs in America the new liberals?
Well, I don't think there's any question that the country is drifting left right now, and in 2008 there's a chance it may take a sharp left turn. If you're a CEO of a large public company, you don't want to paint a target on yourself. You're going to move with this. You're going to say you're going to work with the Democrats in the White House and Congress. And on two areas, healthcare and the environment, you're seeing a lot of big companies moving toward the Democratic positions.
Yeah, Mike Ozanian, we've had Walmart come out practically for socialized medicine.
Yes, but look, David, these are all large corporations. They're the largest companies in the country. And you know what? Socialism doesn't hurt large companies as much as it hurts small businesses. Right. And these large companies would like nothing more than to drive up some of these crazy world is green costs and all these other regulations because it pummels their smaller competitors. It's good for the big companies, but bad for the economy as a whole.
And Elizabeth, people like Milton Friedman have been saying for years that, in fact, the big corporations are almost socialists. They're for the free market for everybody except themselves.
You know, Milton Friedman was exactly right, but this is nothing new. You know, Blue Cross Blue Shield in the 60s dumped the elderly and the poor on the government when they got the government to set up Medicaid and Medicare. Look, big business wants to have a seat at the table so they could blunt any effect of regulation on their own profits. So that's what's going on.
Quentin, you agree?
Well, right, left, I think, is just a smokescreen. You're missing what's really going on. Look, under the Tom DeLay, Jack Abramoff Republican Congress, for 6 years, government grew. Now, was that the teachers' unions and Howard Dean supporters doing it? I think not. That was corporate lobbyists growing it. And now, Democrats are in power, corporate lobbyists are going that way. It's about the lobbyists trying to control government.
And Mike Maiello, all of the big corporation lobbyists did get a seat at the table in the Bush administration.
They always do. They get a seat at the table in all administrations. But what we are seeing right now is corporate America joining the American left in the reality-based community. In a lot of ways, corporations have been very, very progressive. For example, they were...
Progressive meaning, in your eyes, to the left.
Well, yes, but I mean actual progressive policies. Like, they were... far quicker to extend benefits to same-sex couples than the states have been to deal with same-sex marriage. I mean, sometimes corporate America really is ahead of the curve on these things.
But, Victoria, we're talking about the economic issues here, like socialized medicine, which is going to cost a fortune if it's put into power, or a lot of corporations turning green.
Well, turning green is if you have a half-decent marketing department at a large corporation, you're going to be green these days because that's the in thing to do. Green has become the new red, white, and blue, right? How can you argue with the environment? But the real point is we've seen this before. Most of us vote with our hearts, but corporations are pragmatists. And in 1994, when the Republicans seized control of Congress, money flowed into the GOP coffers. We're going to see that again this year. The Democrats are going to get more money. It's not because CEOs all of a sudden are liberal. It's because they're pragmatic.
Well, Rich, is it really harmful to America to see this shift, if there is a shift by CEOs to the left?
Yeah, I absolutely agree with Mike Ozanian on this. If you look at coming out of the recession in 2001, 80% of the new jobs created in America were created by small businesses. So absolutely, we're seeing a widening divide between big corporations, which are moving left, and small corporations, which thrive in a libertarian entrepreneurial environment.
Mike Maiello, isn't that a real problem? That if corporations ask for protectionism and subsidies that the little guys don't get, the little guys are going to get squeezed?
Well, I mean, that is true. That is a problem.
That's a problem with this turn left.
Only big business, but that's not a problem with businesses realizing things like global warming is real. It actually threatens our property.
Yeah, but if the big guys are getting breaks that the little guys aren't getting, the little guys are going to get squeezed.
Well, that's right. We shouldn't be giving corporate welfare to big companies.
But that's isn't, true, Elizabeth, that's what happens when you have corporate/socialist policies, is that the little guys get hurt.
Often the little guys do get hurt, but really what's happening here is companies want a seat at the table. They want one federal mandate, not a patchwork of 50 disparate state laws to deal with. Also, they want to blunt the forces of things like Kyoto, which was a problem. It exempted China. It exempted India from from global warming mandates, and also it was inefficient. The inefficiencies, hang on, from Kyoto came from the communist states that fought.
But Quentin, the point is that you're as much against corporativism as anybody else. You're against corporate breaks. Isn't that a problem? Corporations and the government start working together.
What I'm against is the loss of any kind of rationalism, and if the corporations could come up with a way of improving our healthcare system, right now you say it's not socialist, but we're ranked 26th and we're more expensive than a lot of ones you would call socialist. If we can fix that with corporate involvement, I'm fine. And frankly, global warming,
you're sounding like Jimmy Carter in the 80s with his sin fuel.
Hold on, whoa, go ahead.
You're exactly right, David. It's the government setting economic policy and working hand in hand with big corporations. Jimmy Carter's corporate sin fuel corporation in the 80s. Remember, that turned into $1 billion boondoggle. It flopped.
Rich, go ahead.
Reagan killed it.
Rich, go ahead.
Yeah, here's an example just from the last month. The city of Denver came out with a very green policy that was going to slap a lot of taxes on consumers and small businesses. Now, who wrote this policy? Was it Friends of the Earth? Sierra Club? No, it was a $5 billion engineering firm called CH2M Hill, which is going to benefit hugely by this movement to green.
Rich and Mike do have a point here, because alternative energy, technologies are really going to come out of the entrepreneurs. What we saw in Congress recently was, you saw the senators treating their own positions as their own government entitlement programs, where they did a lot of coal gasification breaks when they really shouldn't be moving toward nuclear energy.
Victoria, entitlement programs are no good for anybody, right?
Well, they often backfire. We've seen that again and again. And Rich's example is a great one. We have one here in California where Pacific Gas and Electric is proposing a lot of environmental regulations, and they have a real advantage here because they use a lot of natural gas instead of coal-producing plants. So it's going to hurt the little guys.
All right, green might be